Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
Hey.
Here we go now.
Oh, here we go.
Anyways, how's everyone doing?
So good.
So good.
I wanted to ask
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
great,
let's hear it. What do you got for me?
because in this book, the mother. Oh, well, I guess we should say what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
This
We're
book
reading Like Mother, Like Daughter.
by Kimberly.
McCreight.
So what did you want to ask?
Yeah.
Oh, because in the beginning of the book, she talks about how she struggled being the default parent. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Default. Yeah. I think that my husband and I kind of share default right now. I don't know if that's going to change when he gets into school because my number is the first number that they would call. So I think there's going to be, just because of the way life is set up,
Sure.
that I will kind of be default for some things. And I think I'm also much more organized than my husband. So when things start to get more schedules and regime, I think it's just going to be me that kind of takes over. But right now, my husband does all the doctor's visits. He's home more when my kid is awake, right? My time with my kid right now is between 5:30 and 6 until 7:30 bedtime. Whereas my husband isn't going to work until 1. So he gets all morning with him every day. And so I think he tends to be a little bit more the default parent, but then there are things like I'm the default, put her to bedder. And if I'm home, my kid wants me to immediately get up out of bed and make breakfast and do all the things. I think right now there's not a clear cut and dry default parent.
Yeah, I think there's like seasons of default.
Yeah.
You know, just depends on work schedules and depends on situations that you're currently in. Similarly, I work all day and my husband has what you would maybe consider like a nurse's schedule, right? So he has like 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. I feel like he has a lot of time off during the week and he has a lot of time with her.
He's handling all the things.
He's doing all the things. He's there for wake up and all the day. And oftentimes we will try to schedule doctor's appointments around if he's going to be home that day or any appointments for that matter, even down to our dog. Like Juno needs a grooming appointment. What day are you off? You know?
What is your experience?
Yeah. What do you got?
I think it was similar to yours when I only had one. And now I am for sure the default for all of them.
I wonder
can
if
imagine.
it'll change too for your littlest because it's the first boy. I wonder if
Well,
that might
if you'll have like
change
a little
later.
bond with your husband because he's guy to guy.
when he's older and
Maybe.
he needs to talk about men things.
Yeah.
Maybe, because right now it's like his eyes will drift and he'll turn his head upside down to find me.
Oh, yeah.
As dad's walking away
I
with
feel
him.
like as a baby, for sure, moms are default.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because for sure I was default as he was a baby when he was a baby.
Yeah, because I even think now my daughter.
He could smell my milk coming in. He was like, "Yeah, mom.
Yeah.
Get off of me, everyone else."
I just think sometimes she'll be with him and then she sees me and
Yes.
she's like, oh, you.
Yeah.
I think we have a special connection in the beginning as moms.
Yeah, no. But like if something breaks, my oldest will come and find me.
Will she walk right past your husband to find you?
Yeah. Or like he'll be standing in the kitchen in front of the fridge. I'm upstairs and she'll come up with like a shake or something like, "Can you open this?" I'm like, "Your dad was standing right next to you. You had to walk up a whole flight of stairs."
You know what? As a kid, my mom was definitely the default parent. It would happen all the time that I would go, "Mom, can I blah, blah, blah?" And she'd be like, "Your father is literally sitting right next to you." So I get it. Even as like an individual, as a child myself, I think my mom was the default parent. Sorry, Mom.
Do you know what? I have a story actually, really quick. I discovered recently how good my 4-year-old is at lying.
What?
I can't believe it. I'm very nervous to have a teenager. We were talking about getting his dad a gift. We couldn't figure it out. We had done shopping in stores. We were looking around. I really wanted him to kind of tell me what you want to get your dad. And so then we were looking online. When we were looking, my husband came and sat down next to us. My kid was like, "Oh, hide it, mommy, hide it, hide it." So I had to get out of it really quick and we just like kind of whatever. And my husband was like, "What are you doing?" And my kid, without missing a beat, said, "We're watching videos about cakes." My mouth dropped. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And my husband looked at me like, "Are you surprised at how good of a liar he is?" I was like, "Yes." It was insane without missing a beat. I was just watching videos about cakes. Honestly, if I didn't react the way I did, I don't think my husband would have even caught on that he was lying. And then I was like, "Yes, he's lying to you." And my kid was like, "Mom, stop it. It's supposed to be a surprise." Dude, you're scary.
They say the best lies are the ones rooted in truth.
No,
And
that's
he
what I
clearly
mean.
does it.
So fast. He's going to give me a run for my money as a teenager. All right,
well,
do we want to get into this book?
Let's do it.
Okay, why don't you hit us with an author summary and then a book summary?
All right, so Like Mother, Like Daughter by Kimberly McCreight. Kimberly is a New York Times bestselling author living in Brooklyn with her husband and 2 daughters. Before diving into writing full-time, she worked as a corporate lawyer after graduating from University of Pennsylvania Law and Vassar. So her breakout novel, Reconstructing Amelia, which was actually the 5th book she wrote and landed on the bestseller list and picked up multiple award nominations. That success launched a career filled with gripping adult thrillers like A Good Marriage and Where They Found Her, along with the young adult trilogy The Outliers, all with strong critical and TV film interest. She started writing during the late nights and train rides while still working at a law firm, eventually taking a leap while living in London. Now she juggles a full-time writing schedule with motherhood, usually writing from 9 to 6 on weekdays, with lots of help from to-do lists and babysitters. I thought that was interesting because we are all working mothers and have to do something similar. In her spare time, Kimberly loves traveling with her family, chasing adventures where she can, from climbing Mount Fuji to dreaming about hiking Machu Picchu. Her books are perfect for readers who love emotionally layered, fast-paced thrillers that keep you guessing until the very last page. And that is Kimberly McCreight.
A lot of what you said, I feel like I can understand, like the lawyer thing and the mother thing, right? There's a lot of her in this book.
Yeah, just her life rooted into the storytelling. Okay, so the summary for Like Mother, Like Daughter with no spoilers. This is a gripping psychological thriller about the complicated bond between a mother and a daughter. Set in Brooklyn, the story follows Cleo, a college student whose life is upended when her mother suddenly goes missing. As Cleo searches for answers, she begins to unravel pieces of her mother's past that don't quite add up. Told through the dual perspective, the novel explores trust, identity, and the haunting question of how well we really know the ones we love. With sharp pacing and emotional depth, it's a page turner that keeps you questioning everything until the very end. No
Agreed.
spoilers?
No spoilers.
That's good.
Okay, I tried. I was like, oh, this one I feel like I could give away some stuff.
The way this book is written, like it's constantly jumping all over the damn place. It's in the present. It's in the daughter's perspective. It's in the mom's perspective. It's back into the 90s. It's court documents.
It is.
Oh, yeah, the transcripts.
I was going to say, I'm nervous but excited to see how this goes. For our cocktail, we're calling Mother's Secret. It is 1.5 ounces of gin, a 1/2 ounce Chambord, a 1/2 ounce blackberry syrup, fresh lemon juice, about 3/4 ounce, 2 dashes of black walnut bitters, and we have little ice spheres with blackberries and flowers in it. Cheers.
Cheers. The vibration of your lips was great. Ooh,
I like it.
Yeah,
Do you like
that. It's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
It's definitely fruity. It's fruity.
It's fruity.
Do you know what? If it had like a splash of either some sort of bubbly champagne or a
Tonic. Oh, that would make
that
it
would have given it
perfection.
a little.
perfection. All right, well, let's get into this episode, into the chumps. We're going to start off with the prologue. The prologue opens with the law firm fixer, Katrina, or Kat McHugh. Her last name, I like her last name. McHugh. So Katrina McHugh, or Kat McHugh, and she's talking about motherhood. She talks about when you're pregnant, you're given so much unsolicited advice, and it's like, that's when the lies start happening. She talks about people saying, oh, it'll come naturally to you, and all these things. Oh, you look beautiful. I'm fat and can't breathe when I walk, but thanks. The only piece that she felt actually rang true was that you will love your child more than you could have ever imagined as soon as they're born. Really, truly. However, that comes with a price. No matter how much you care, you will make mistakes. It's a mother's job to try and fix things, even when it feels impossible.
Although I don't necessarily feel that you love them from the second they're born. In my case, it was like, I love you, but I also don't know you.
Yeah, I think
I would die for you. I don't know you and I will die for you. But I also am still like trying to figure out the love because I don't know this person.
Yeah, I think it was a fierce,
protective love.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like I for sure was thrown into I would die for you, I would kill for you, I would protect you with every ounce of me, and I didn't know I could ever feel like this about something. Almost like the fairy tale, I love my child. Yeah, maybe it wasn't that.
Yeah. The love that I have for her now is not the love I had for her when she was first born. I will still
Evolves.
die for her and I would still protect with every ounce of my body. But it's now like an actual, I know you as a person. Like have an intimate love for you now, where I don't think it was that in the beginning. It's a love because you're this little being that I need to love and care for and nurture and do whatever. But as they grow and you get to know them and they become little parts of your life, then you have this like intimate love. So just for the sake of other mothers that listen and are here, it's okay if you don't have this passionate love for your child the second they're born. Because it does come, I promise, over time. It's a different love, I think, than what I personally thought it was going to be right out the gate.
Yeah.
It's a little jarring.
So then the next chapter we go into Cleo the day of. Cleo McHugh is Kat's daughter. She's an NYU student and she is going to her family's Brooklyn brownstone after her mother, Kat, urgently asks to talk with her. You can tell there's like a little bit of a roughness in their relationship. Like she's hesitant. She doesn't really want to go in. Her mom drives her crazy, but she's been blowing me up.
I'm
Ever
on
since
my
I got-
way.
Yeah, like annoying mom. She finds that the door is open. And when she walks in, there's something burning. Her house is kind of disarrayed a little bit. She's looking for her mom, Kat. She cannot find her. Kat is missing. She sees like some stuff under the sofa and she realizes there's blood on the ground. She sees her mom's shoe is on the ground with blood on it. And then her mother's laptop is on the floor. She's calling her father, Aiden, who just landed from a flight. And he's like, hey, I just walked off this plane. She's like, I think something happened to mom. Then it skips to litigation. March 5th, 2024. Case notes. A new excerpt details a major lawsuit against Darden Pharmaceuticals over its seizure drug, Zytec. The plaintiff is a Jane Doe. She alleges the drug caused severe harm to infants when taken during pregnancy, with Darden accused of failing to issue side effect warnings. You get this like little glimpse. It's literally, if you're listening to it, a 20-second chapter. It's super fast. It's just, you keep getting these little droplets of some sort of litigation that's happening. Then we go back to Katrina for 8 days before she went missing. Kat wakes up at the apartment of Doug Sinclair. He is a Darden pharmaceutical executive, which I did not make the connection between these two things until after I finished the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that the litigation was against Darden Pharmaceuticals and Doug worked for Darden Pharmaceuticals. It took me way too long to realize that.
Okay.
I think when I was reading it, I read it like, I don't know what the hell this litigation thing is about. We'll keep going. Okay,
Yeah.
sure, whatever. So he works for Darden Pharmaceuticals and she's been dating him for about 3 weeks. Kat is tasked by her law firm to handle a PR issue for a volatile CEO. I think her name is Vivian. And she deals a lot with CEOs. And she has some sort of instance where she has like threatened to shove him out a window or something.
She's very volatile.
Yeah. And so Kat
Gotta be
has,
fierce in that world, you know?
yeah, Kat as a fixer is trying to clear her name. Doug confides to Kat that he's being blackmailed. He like gets a text while they're kind of getting ready for the day. He's getting blackmailed for allegedly bringing a university to admit his daughter. So they don't do a lot of detail, just that he got a text message from this guy that they used to get his daughter into college. And he's claiming that they did something
He's claiming
illegal.
that they bribed the university into admitting their daughter.
Yeah, I don't think he just kind of is like, oh, he's claiming I did something that I didn't do, but he hides the text message from Kat. Kat leaves after she gets like a message from Aiden, like, call me. And he's real snarky. Aiden is calling about their daughter. Cleo wants to borrow $2,000. And Aiden's like, yeah, I'm just going to give it to her. And Kat's like, well, what is it for? Because she has this history of a bad ex-boyfriend who does drugs. And now she's
she hasn't
calling
been
you.
making the best decisions in her young adult life.
She's been helping this ex-boyfriend. Well, at the time, her boyfriend dropped drugs to students at NYU. And now she's calling you and asking for $2,000 and you just want to give it to her. And Aiden kind of makes these remarks like, well, I don't judge people based on what the decisions they made in the past, like you do.
Yeah, he's very self-righteous little prick.
Yeah. And so she kind of tries to play into it. And she's like, well, you have such a good relationship with Cleo. She trusts you. Why don't you ask her what the $2,000 is for? She kind of tries to play Aiden a little bit. And then Aiden offers to find out the intentions of the money in exchange for Kat to fund his documentary. Mm-hmm. He's a
And it's
real
like-
piece of work.
But not just like a couple grand. He's asking for millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, he needs $2 million.
Basically, their whole savings from when her
I think she got
Inheritance,
$4
from
million
inheritance.
from the inheritance, and he's
she's got
asking
like
for half of it.
3.8 left or something like that. And he's like, because we are working on getting divorced, I want my half now.
Yeah, my half of the inheritance. I'm
said
sorry.
you get half
You
of
didn't
it?
inherit anything.
Yes.
You had access to it because we were married at one point.
Yes,
Because
that's how I feel.
she didn't.
She didn't do a prenup, or I forget what you call
The
it. She didn't
inheritance
call it that.
wasn't given to her because there was a whole lot of litigation around it.
Until after she was married.
Yep.
So technically it's income earned after. Then we jump into Cleo. Cleo, we're 30 minutes gone. Her mom is 30 minutes missing. Cleo goes to a neighbor, Janine's house, for help. I'm going to try to not have any emotions when we talk about all this.
Same.
So Cleo goes to her neighbor Janine's house, which was her best friend's mom. Janine and her daughter Annie, Cleo's former childhood friend, try to comfort her. Annie's a real McBitch. She's like, oh, you want water? Sure. Cleo makes comments like, I can hear her slamming cupboards, and she's got an attitude.
Brat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been friends since the end of high school, really.
Yeah, because Annie started part of the rumors that she sleeps around. Eventually, Aiden arrives and assures Cleo the situation isn't necessarily her fault. It's okay, Cleo. Yeah, who thought
Well, no
it
shit.
was?
Yeah. Who thought it was your fault, Cleo?
Yeah.
No
Though
one.
Cleo senses something terrible has happened. Then we bounce into November 1st, 1995. It's a journal entry from teenage Katrina when she lived at Haven House because she was adopted, and she lived at this horrible house before she was adopted. It's a group home.
It's a group home for teenagers, but it's terrible.
Yeah. The person who was running it at the time was doing some shady things. Really, I think he was just interested in money, and I'm going to get it at any expense of anyone, even these young girls that are.
Yeah. And he was trying to use that position to get himself like a more, like in a
Renowned.
in a school somewhere.
Yes. She enjoys her writing group that she just recently started taking at this home, but she expresses fear over being harassed by a staff member, Silas, who humiliates her. He like digs through her underwear drawer and pulls them all out and stuff. Like
He's a fucking
like
adult.
He's an adult, and he's like a maintenance guy.
Yeah.
That works at this home. Then the next chapter is Kat. Again, 6 days before she goes missing, Kat waits for Doug at a bar and reflects on past parenting mistakes, especially with Cleo. She has an awkward encounter with Janine, especially because she doesn't know that Janine knows that her and her husband are splitting up. So she's trying to kind of play it cool. She doesn't want to make an announcement because she doesn't want it to get back to Cleo. So this is like the first instance you find out Cleo doesn't know that her dad and her mom are not together right now. And there's even some hints that technically their separation was Kat's idea, but she didn't have a choice in the matter. It was kind of Aiden was really kind of forcing it on her to make that decision. So she has this awkward encounter with Janine, the neighbor, who mentioned the Kyle situation. Kyle is Cleo's ex-boyfriend.
But she says it like such a cunt. Oh, honey, and the Kyle situation.
Yeah.
But she really doesn't know what the hell's going on either. She's just trying to make her feel less than.
Judgmental.
She has a suspicious text from her assistant, Jules. It comes from a number she doesn't know, but she's like, I don't even know if this is Jules. I talk to Jules every single day. She says, I don't want to talk to you in the office. She's like, it needs to be outside of work, and I need to talk to you as soon as possible. And so she like sends this text back to even test if it's Jules to say, I can talk to you tomorrow, knowing that Jules has a child who has some
Thing like every Tuesday or something. Yeah.
She has a lot of therapy that she needs to go through because she's got some things going on with her. So, but Jules writes back like, sure, I need to talk to you so badly that I will talk to you on Tuesday and
I'll find someone else
to take care of my daughter. And so she's like, okay, this kind of checks out. And she's like, actually, can you just call me right now? So she steps outside to talk to Jules. She makes a comment like, oh, I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Jules freaks out like, never mind, I don't want to talk to you, and hangs up. Then she gets this text thinking it's Jules, like, what's going on? And when she looks at it, it's this suspicious number texting her that says something about like, your past is catching up with you. I'm almost all the way caught up. And she kind of goes back into this memory of hers having blood on her hands and what a horrible day it was. And now she carries a knife everywhere she goes because of this random day in her past. She later learns from one of her, I think it's like her best friend really, that Doug died in a car crash that night, which is why he never arrived at the bar. And she's all pissed off, like, I'm going to talk to him. And then she finds out that he crashed into a tree. Then we skip into a transcript of recorded session, a therapy session. It's the first session between Cleo and she's talking to her therapist about dating Kyle and making drug deliveries to rebel against her mother. It's clear she has some real aggression towards her mom. And a lot of the decisions she's making is to just take a jab at her mom. She reveals emotional wounds from Kat's harsh reaction reaction to her first relationship with this boy named Charlie in high school. It was her first love. And she lost her virginity to him and told her mom about it.
The way her mom reacts just scars her.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
She
it
was
sucks
vicious.
because she was very not sensitive to this vulnerable moment in her daughter's life.
Yes.
And it basically started the trajectory of their tumultuous relationship.
Yeah.
And she
started
talks
the
about,
rift.
like, Kat talks about it in her chapters where she knows that she handled these
Yeah.
situations when she got older horribly. She's like,
Yeah.
I basically took a book of, like, what not to do, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So
It
she
sucks 'cause
recognizes it.
I do think a lot about that as having a daughter and in her future, maybe making a similar mistake
Yeah.
and then unintentionally doing something that causes this turmoil between the two of us
Yeah.
and then not being able to fix it. That sucks.
It's just going to take you going missing for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of had, not obviously that, because I don't
that
have old
level.
enough kids,
Yeah.
but like a boyfriend conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And having to stay
Yes.
asking open-ended questions.
Yes.
And
The
like,
amount
okay,
of
that's
self-control
Cool. It is.
it requires to be a parent
Seriously.
has been so eye-opening because I want to lose my shit sometimes and I know that I cannot. Poor Kat. Not that I think she knows, right? She
Yeah.
knows she made the mistake and that sucks because
She
she's never
reacted
been
and-
able to recover
yes.
from it. Her daughter has made sure that
It
she
really
doesn't
did.
recover
Even
from
the
it.
memories she had of her before that moment almost were tainted.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So now you
Even
get-
though they were very close when she was younger and she was like a mommy's girl.
Yes.
Now everything's with
And
a
when she looks
negative
back
light.
on that, she's like, even when I loved her, she was a real controlling bitch. Like, right? And you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it causes her to reconsider all the moments in
Yeah.
her mom's life and the
Yes.
choices her mom made, and that sucks.
Yes.
It does, because that's a little bit like me. Like, I'm a fixer. I try to fix things in it.
I know, me too.
And
gosh.
it made me think about, like, okay.
Reconsider how you react to things.
But I mean, if they ask me for help, I'm going to help them. I'm not going to
Sure.
say no.
Yeah.
But
You'll figure it out.
yeah.
I'll watch.
yeah.
Oh, that ain't me. Okay, so then we go to Cleo, 3 hours gone. She and Aiden speak with Detective Wilson, who confirms signs of a struggle, but no definitive proof Katrina is dead by any means. They actually even talk about how, yeah, that's a lot of blood, but you would be surprised how much people can bleed and not actually die.
She says it so matter-of-factly, like, that's nothing.
Supposed to be comforting.
It's not a surprising amount of blood. It's just an amount.
See this all the time.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
a little slice. She could still very much be alive.
Not the carotid.
She even makes a note like she even says something about yeah, I don't have a lot of hopes for this. And the Cleo and the dad are like, you don't have a lot of hope? She's like, no, about the fingerprints. I don't have a lot of hope about getting fingerprints.
yeah, that's right.
And you're like, jeez, maybe have a little bit better
She's like, yeah,
bedside
how many
manner.
people have touched that doorknob? Like, so many. That's not helping anyone. She's like, but that glass right there on the counter.
that'll help. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be good because
Yeah.
that looks like it just was touched.
The thoughts
Yes.
of a detective are just word vomited.
Yes,
Instead
exactly.
of actually
Sweet
being.
Jesus.
And Cleo's like, I don't know what's happening.
Because likely they're having those thoughts in real life, right?
Yeah.
They're probably actually going, oh, this crime scene sucks. I'm not going to get a whole lot out of here. But
Yeah.
this one's just letting it all out.
She's like, yeah, no, there's not going to be a lot of us for us
She
to go
has
off of.
outside thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes.
She tells Cleo and Aiden, like, if you want to help, you can, but anything that you come up on, tell us. Because if you get in the way, you can actually slow us down instead of make this easier. And then she leaves. The dad's like, okay, you go upstairs and see if they missed anything. I'm going to make some phone calls and see if we can get some friends. Cleo, when she's upstairs, she noticed that her father's clothes are missing and overhears him having this suspicious phone call where he's kind of yelling. He's usually level-headed, but he's like yelling at someone like
Whisper yelling on the
Yes.
phone. Yeah.
So she kind of gets taken aback. She steps backwards. She sits on their mom's bed, which is perfectly made. And she realizes that Katrina's laptop is hidden under the blankets in the bed. She sits on it. She accesses Kat's laptop because she has the password for that and discovers her mother had been active on dating sites. And then like in walks dad and she's like, what is this? So randomly 2 days before there's this text message chain between two people that you don't know. And someone is asking someone for a favor. And they're like, what are you going to give me for it? I know that you always
Very
show your
flirtatious.
appreciation. It is a little flirtatious. And yeah, and then that's the end of that little text message piece that's random and you don't know why.
Yes.
And that's the end of my chumpies as well.
And then we jump in to what would be chapters 10 through 19.
Oh, yeah. None of them actually have chapter numbers either.
No, they're all just names of who's narrating. Kat, 5 days before, Katrina waits for Aiden at Cafe Reggio and reflects on Doug's death. NYPD contacts thinks it was a suicide, but she has her doubts, and she recalls her past with Aiden, their early chemistry, how his family lost their wealth. Kat inherited nearly $4 million from her guardian, Gladys Green, who adopted her at the age of 14 with help from Haven House's director after Kat had killed someone.
Yeah, it's like an old lady who used to come to the group home and just like hang out with the kid. And she had Alzheimer's or something and got really close to Kat because it reminded her of her sister.
Yes.
And so Kat started hanging out with her and kind of had a little bit of a relationship. And Kat says something like they would have never let her adopt a child.
Yeah,
but
she got denied several times.
Yes.
We just bypass this bomb that you dropped after Kat had killed someone.
Yeah.
Like, we've gotten a glimpse of it where she talks about washing blood off her hands. But
Yeah, we don't know
in
the
this
story
moment,
yet.
it's like she murdered a person.
Yeah, you start piecing together as we go along.
Yes. But Gladys calls her by her sister's name the whole time she lives with her.
Yeah, because she thinks it's her sister.
Yes.
And that's how they get her to adopt Kat.
Yes.
To get her out of the group home and out of the way for
And
this.
she genuinely has a good
event.
relationship with her and cares
Yeah.
for her. And, you
Because
know.
she thinks it's her sister.
No, I mean, Kat has a good relationship with her and
Well,
does
yeah,
care
'cause
for Gladys
She does.
and ends up inheriting
But she
the
knows
millions
she
that
knows
she
why
has.
she's there.
Yes.
Kat, in her position as a lawyer, she is not like a typical corporate lawyer. Like you said, she's the fixer.
Yeah.
So she has all of these connections.
She's a partner.
She is a
Which
partner.
is why she feels like I don't have to disclose my relationship with a client that is
Right.
Doug, but she's
or
not
a employee of a client because the client's the
Yeah,
company.
Right.
She also has all these different connections
Yes.
to people you wouldn't necessarily have if you were a contract lawyer or
A clean cut lawyer.
anyone like that.
She's like cleaning up people's reputations.
Yeah. Or making sure that the dark part of their reputation doesn't get out.
Yeah.
Right.
She starts posing as someone named Karen Thompson, and she calls Brian Carmichael from Advantage Consulting. Supposedly, before Doug passed, he was saying that he was getting blackmailed by the company who was trying to get his daughter into a different college. So she's trying to investigate this claim. So she's pretending to be Karen Thompson. She calls and tries to set up a meeting with this Brian Carmichael. And then Aiden shows up at the cafe and he asks her for the $2.75 million. And he's like, you can call it a loan if that makes you feel any better because that money is entitled to me. And then he's like, oh, and I already gave Cleo the $2,000. You don't need to know about it. I already did it. It's done. She agrees, like, I'm only going to give you this loan if you find out why she needs the money. Then she goes and she follows Cleo to her dorm, obviously at a distance. We're spying. And she watches her go to a gym. She watches her deliver an envelope. And then she gets another anonymous text message threatening to expose her past. Then it jumps to the U.S. District Court Zytec litigation. The court document claims Darton Pharmaceuticals ignored evidence and Zytec caused birth defects and infant death when used during pregnancy. And then we jump to Cleo. 4 hours gone. Cleo looks through Kat's dating profile and realizes her mother has been seeing other men. And not only that, like she sees the profile picture of her mom and she's like, who is this fabulous woman?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know her. Why is she so carefree looking in this photo? So she texts Will, who is her current situation, to cancel plans, explaining that her mom's
Her
missing.
current situation that she's like, oh, I'm just sleeping with him. And then every time he messages her and stuff, she like gets butterflies. And she's like, it's a little more than sleeping with
yeah.
him. But I can't tell anyone about it.
Yeah,
Like, why? There were so many instances where it's like, what is wrong with Will?
yeah, he
Why is
sounds
it
like a
such
nice guy.
Why do you have to
secret.
keep it a secret
Yeah.
from everyone?
And she almost tries to play it off like my mom was so critical of the one time
yes.
I told her I slept with someone that I
doesn't want her
can't
to
tell
ruin
her.
it for
Yes.
me. I really like this guy, actually. I'm coming to the realization that I like him and I don't want her to mess it up.
Cleo's got some poor taste in men.
Seriously.
After she texts Will, she confronts Aiden about his missing clothes, and he admits that he and her mom were separated. And she's like, well, why? My mom would never leave you. My mom loves you unless you did something.
Yeah.
Did you cheat on my mom?
He's like, nobody cheated, Cleo.
Yeah.
Nobody would do that. No,
He is such
it's
a piece of
amicable.
scum.
Although as a parent, I don't know that I could admit to my kid that I did that.
Yes, but also
Not at the expense. If I really fucked up, I don't ever foresee myself doing that because I have too much respect respect for my
Yeah.
spouse. If I did and that was the reason, I would be honest with my kid.
I would
think I'd
say
be like,
I think we need to
it's
have
my
a
fault.
conversation.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk about it. This isn't the time, but let's talk about what is happening and I'll explain it to you.
I think I would take ownership for it.
Yeah,
though.
me too.
And I think that's why I think he's disgusting. But
he is.
But he's like, no one had an affair, Cleo. And it almost is like this. You know, your mom. She's hard to work with sometimes, right? And I feel like he points the finger at Kat, and that's what makes me upset.
Yeah.
You don't want to share that part of your life. Okay, I get that.
that part of your guilt.
Yeah,
But then
you're
don't
nasty.
blame the person who had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
Right.
But
You know
also,
how your
I
mom
think he's such a crappy guy that he truly believes it's her fault.
Yeah. So he also claims that she misinterpreted his phone call. But Cleo's like, something's not right. But she's remained suspicious and she starts searching around her mom's office. And she finds a Haven House journal and a copy of a book called Leaves of Grass with an inscription from someone named Reed encouraging Kat to become a writer. It's a very specific inscription in the book. So then it jumps to Kat 4 days before, and Katrina visits Advantage Counseling to question Brian about Doug's alleged bribery. She recalls confronting Cleo and Kyle for his drug dealing and threatens to cut her tuition unless she leaves him.
She's definitely a stern, strong, controlling mom. But I don't know what I would do if this was me and my child. It feels, I mean, I guess because of everything she's doing, this is just like another day in the life of Kat McHugh.
fixing.
But yeah, like I don't know if I'd be like, I'm gonna cut off your tuition.
It's so hard because
yeah.
you know that the person that they're with is just not right for them. Not to
Not
say
only
that
but
person,
they're putting them in danger.
Yes.
That's why I might go to that extreme.
Yeah.
And the sucky thing is, it's not to say that that person might not grow up, mature, be a great person in the future, but right now, this is
making
not
poor
the person
choices.
for you, and they're making poor choices. And maybe in the future, they could be amazing and a great future husband and a great whatever. You don't know, because maybe they are a better person later. They're in college. Like, they're going to make stupid mistakes, and eventually
He's a
you grow
shitty
up.
guy for sure, as you get to know him more in this book. But to your point, he comes from a wealthy background. He's probably not going to be a drug dealer for his whole life.
Yes. But right now, do I want you around somebody who's making these poor choices that I can't foresee making better choices later in life? Absolutely not. So I will do whatever I can to get you away from this terrible scenario.
Yeah.
And it sucks because she's just rebelling against everything her mom wants her to
Yeah.
do on purpose.
She's just trying to get her away from him, and she's
trying to
tried
be a
the
good parent.
talking and she's tried the things, and she's like, I don't know what else to do, but I'm gonna cut off your tuition if you don't dump this loser. If you want to continue going to school, you need to dump his ass.
Yeah.
What would suck is if she's like, all right, fine, I won't go to school.
Well, that's, I think, the risk that I wouldn't be willing to take. Like, I don't want you to mess up your whole life because of this decision. And if I threaten to take away your tuition, you potentially
Could be okay with it.
would be like, fine, bye.
Yes. And do I want to risk that? I don't know. Probably not.
As she's talking to Brian, he confirms that Doug made a large payment to secure his daughter's admission to Amherst. The way he says it, he doesn't say it's a bribe. He's like, oh, you could pay for extra things that we could do, and they do cost more money. Just like, and she's like, oh, and she really just cuts in and she's like, well, I was recommended by Doug. And he's like, oh yeah, Doug paid me a significant amount of extras to help his daughter get into Amherst.
It's like test tutoring and essay support and
But she's not saying it.
I know, but I think that's what they were.
Eventually it comes
Yeah.
out, but yes. And she's interpreting that like, oh, this big payment was a bribe. So is Doug really the person I thought he was? Then it jumps to November 16th, 1992. In her childhood journal, Kat recounts how her parents left her alone for 3 days at the age of 4 with a gallon of water and a loaf of bread. And she was only found because the mailman came and she put her little hand out of the mail slot, and that's how they found her. And Reed, her writing club tutor, praises her story. So she wrote this in a story during her writing club, and he's like, oh, your writing is just amazing. It's the best I've ever seen. And Reed is a tutor he's in a college, but it's one of the big colleges. Then it jumps to Cleo, 7 hours gone. She returns to her dorm with her mom's laptop and searches for clues on Facebook. Jeff, a former buyer, confronts her about no longer supplying Ritalin and insults her. He shows up at her dorm room, clearly going through withdrawals.
yes.
He's like, Kyle told me you're the reason why I'm not getting any
getting
more.
cut off.
Yeah. So what the fuck? Go fix it. Call him now. Fix it. So she reveals that Kyle demanded $2,000 from her, which she delivered in the envelope. And then she's reading Kat's journal. Cleo discovers her mother had a crush on Reed. Then she goes to her mom's best friend Laura's house or her apartment, and she learns that Katrina's relationship with Doug, her abandonment as a child, and then Aiden's affair with his secretary, Bella. She's like, it's not my place to tell you. And she's like, can you just tell me what the hell is happening? My mom is gone. I'm terrified. I don't know why my dad, it doesn't feel like he's telling me the truth.
Lauren's her best friend, and best friend's like, all right, I'm going to tell you some things.
Yeah. Buckle up, buttercup.
Yeah.
And so she lets it all out. Then we jump to a transcript of Cleo's recorded session with her therapist, the second session. She confides in her therapist that she uses sex to feel wanted and discusses her difficult breakup with Charlie. She remembers her mom's harsh reaction to learning Cleo was sexually active, which damaged their relationship. Cleo expresses sadness over how
old is Cleo? She's like a freshman or something in college. Because
she's got to be like 19, 20.
Yeah, because she talks to the therapist and she's like, I don't think 16 or 17 people are that much. Do you think it's that much?
And the
She's
therapist
like,
being the therapist is like, I don't know. What do
I
you
don't
think
have an
it is?
opinion.
Yeah.
It is what you think it is kind of situation.
Exactly. Yes.
It feels
Very
like you're,
political.
Yeah.
So she's definitely sexually active.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's sad over how close her mom and her used to be, but it deteriorated during her teen years. Then we jump to Kat 4 days before, and Katrina visits Aiden's office because she's like, Aiden can't remember a password to save his fucking life. I know all of his passwords, and he's not there yet. So she logs into his computer.
Oh, yes.
And his phone and computer are attached to each other. She starts seeing a text chain with who she thinks is Bella, the secretary, which includes criticisms of Kat. And she's really taken aback. She's like, it's one thing for him to have an affair. It's another thing for him to be discussing me with this bitch.
And that bitch is truly discussing her. Like, you need to stand up to her. You can't let her do this. And
She needs therapy. She shouldn't be putting Cleo in therapy.
She needs to step back off of Cleo. Like, give her the space. She's a grown adult. Like,
They don't say the products that they're using, but likely Apple is just ruining marriages all over the world due to their syncing of their products.
yep.
I wonder if that was their intent.
I love a good sync. Kat receives another anonymous threatening text messages referencing blood on her hands. Aiden lies about the $2,000 he gave Cleo. I found out why she needed the money. It was for an environmental group. And Kat's like, are you fucking stupid?
She's like, wow, she really played you and you're an idiot.
Yeah. Kat refuses, and she's like, I'm not giving you the money. So I lied.
Yeah.
Tough titties.
Yeah, because the initial agreement is find out what she wants the money for, and then I will consider giving you the money you need for that loan.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
but
she,
obviously, this is not the real reason.
Yeah,
you
so that's
dumb
why she
piece
said,
of-
I'm not giving it to you.
And when she walks into the office for his film studio, she's like cataloging everything, like this table that he had to have, this $13,000 table. I funded this whole office.
The whole office.
And
I
he
funded
needed
everything.
He
for his
needed to
whole
have
life.
all these luxurious things, and she's just disgusted
And
sitting
he's
there.
not even good at his job.
No. She visits the gym that Chloe had gone to drop the envelope. She's talking to the guy and she's like, oh, does my daughter go to this gym? How much is a membership? And it's some like grotesque amount of money. It's like
Stupid.
$2,000 a month to be a member of this elite gym. She gets it out of him that the locker that she delivered the envelope to was for Kyle. So one day before, there's random text messages going around asking what photos Katrina claimed Kyle had on the phone. And one of the people in the text message says they're going to try and find more, but don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. Then we jump to Cleo. It's now 13 hours since Kat disappeared, and Cleo contacts men that Kat matched with online. She's like, what if it's one of these motherfuckers that
Yeah.
took my mom? Like, what if it was a date gone wrong? And she's going through the messages and she's like, oh, she's a...
Cleo is ballsy because I think later on there's a mention about like, okay, I get you're trying to figure out who is responsible for this, but think about what you're doing. I know you're upset you want to find this person, but what happens when you do find this
Yes.
person?
What are you going to do when you're face to face with her potential attempted murderer?
Yeah.
She also messaged the assistant, Jules. The detective keeps like randomly pulling up wherever Cleo is. Wilson's trying to rile them up, and she's like, oh, your dad said that your relationship is volatile with your mom.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck, am I now a suspect? Why would my dad say that to you?
Yeah.
Then Cleo visits Aiden's office. She finds it empty, but she's also like, I know my dad's password because he doesn't have a different one. And she logs in and she sees an email, and she's going through the chain of the email, and he's like, oh, I have to ask this bitch for money. And then he sends another email, and it's like, we got it. I have the money. And she's shocked. So Cleo texts her situationship Will, and then listens to a voicemail from Katrina's boss, Mark, offering help. He calls Cleo. And that's where we end, my chumpies.
And then we jump into chapters 20 through 29. This next chapter is like a Reddit thread, and it's discussing whether to join the multi-district litigation against Darden Pharmaceuticals. So there's multiple people, and they share that their children experienced health issues after they took Zytec during pregnancy, and one user, NYC Mama, strongly encourages others to join. She's warning that Darden will stop at nothing to protect itself and implies that she has insider knowledge. And then we jump to Kat. 4 days before she goes missing, and Kat recalls a moment when 7-year-old Cleo defied her by eating a box of chocolates, leaving Kat feeling helpless. She tells her not to do it, and she just does it anyways, and it's just kind of like
Cleo's
a moment
always been a
of
little
being
bit
a little,
defiant, I
yeah,
think.
she's just being a little bit rebellious. It starts off as chocolates, but ends up being a lot more later on
Ends
in
up being
life.
drug dealing, sweet Jesus.
It's the gateway drug is
gosh.
eating the chocolate box.
To be clear, Cleo doesn't do these drugs. She's tried them, but they're just not for her.
Yeah,
she's just down to help deliver them.
After leaving the gym, she reflects on Cleo's continued relationship with Kyle, despite Kat's threats and involvement of police. Kat texts Cleo asking to meet, but Cleo only says she'll get back to her. It's a little bit disheartening because she's like, oh, I'm trying to really help her, and she won't get back to me. So another threatening text arrives, accusing Kat of stabbing someone and claiming Haven House covered it up. She suspects that it's Silas. At work, Mark tells Kat that Darden Pharmaceuticals wants to blame Doug Sinclair for the Zytec scandal, claiming he hid risks from the FDA and died by suicide from guilt. You're now
You kind
start
of
to
already
question.
know that's some bullshit.
Yes. You start to question like everybody else, because why is any of this coming out like this? Because I don't think that's
scapegoat.
true.
It's a
yes.
super easy scapegoat.
Yeah. So the firm sees this as a lucrative case, and Kat doesn't disclose her romantic involvement with Doug and agrees to investigate.
He always gives her the option to say no because of the nature of her work. Really frames it like you don't really have a choice. But at the end, he's like, but you can always decline it if you wanted to, but this would really be
This
great
would
for the
really
firm.
Make it, like we're struggling right now.
And they would give us all of their business if we do this investigation correctly.
Yeah. Then we jump to Cleo 14 hours after Kat goes missing. Cleo meets Will by the Hudson River and confesses her guilt over fighting with Kat before her disappearance and her growing suspicion about her dad. After returning to her dorm, Cleo texts Kat's assistant, Jules, but doesn't receive a response, and she decides to go to Kat's office. She gets to the office, and HR informs her that Jules recently resigned. Jules finally texts Cleo back, and she tells her, like, she warns her, you need to leave the office because it's not safe, and there's 2 men in a black car, and they're watching you, so you need to get out of there. As Cleo tries to leave, she is intercepted by Mark, who claims Jules was fired for a manic episode. You're questioning everything at this point because everybody is having some shit going on. Then Cleo meets with Mark and tells him everything she's learned. Mark offers to help investigate Aiden's access to Kat's inheritance and dismisses any notion that Kat worked on dangerous legal cases, suggesting her past may be the real source of danger. And so then we jump to Kat 3 days before she goes missing. Kat confronts Kyle outside of his apartment and threatens to report his drug dealing if he continues to see Cleo. Kyle threatens her in return, saying he has incriminating photos of Cleo using, buying, and selling drugs. So Kat contacts an NYPD detective who reveals that a black sedan was seen following Doug before his fatal crash, and the case is now considered a homicide. At Advantage Consulting, Kat accuses Brian of extorting and killing Doug. Brian denies involvement, and Kat believes him. While sitting in a park, Katrina notices a black sedan watching her, and it drives off when she approaches. Then we jump to November 24th, 1992. It's a journal entry, and Kat writes about a girl's intense love, utterly senseless and deeply brave. Her tutor Reed calls the line brave, and Katrina interprets this as confirming that he knew she was writing about her feelings for him. Then we jump to Cleo, 24 hours gone. Cleo reads her mother's final journal entry, which describes being locked in a dark, windowless room. She notices many entries were missing and ripped out. She recalls a childhood memory of learning to swim, linking it to her complicated relationship with her mom.
Throughout the whole book, she talks about how she nearly drowned in an ocean and she doesn't want to swim. And it's one of the first altercations she had with her mom because her mom's like, let's go swim in the ocean today. And she's like, just love me for who I am, Mom.
I'm not an ocean swimmer like you, Mom.
We all get it. You're so strong. You're such a strong swimmer, Mom. I'm not.
But her mom doesn't know that she almost drowned.
The whole time
She's just
Cleo
like,
is starting to show this part of the story. It's like, my mom's just trying to force me to do things that I don't want to do for no care for me at all. But more and more of their past story starts to get revealed, and you're like, oh, it's because of this negative story she's been telling herself about her mom.
Always two sides. Cleo then contacts Randy, which is a man that Kat had messaged on a dating app, and arranges to meet with him.
Again,
Annie,
crazy.
yes, Annie confronts Cleo at the cafe, accuses her of being selfless, and leaves after telling her to contact Janine. Then Randy arrives and shares that Katrina had an argument with a client named Vivian Vauxhall on her date. We jump to a transcript of a recorded session, Cleo's third session with her therapist, and Cleo expresses fears about telling Katrina she's dating Will, fearing judgment, that her mom's going to judge her and the therapist is going to judge her. She reveals that Kyle once punched her, and although she stayed with him, she feels ashamed for both staying and resenting Kat's interference, even though she knows her mom was right.
I can't imagine what I would do if I found out someone punched my daughter.
Oh, my husband would murder.
I would murder. I'm sure my husband would be right behind me,
Yes.
but the life leaves their body.
Yes.
I will need to watch.
So then we jump to Kat 2 days before she goes missing. Katrina talks to Lauren about her parenting worries, then informs Mark that she suspects Darden is following her. She contacts Ahmed, a cybersecurity expert, to retrieve messages from Doug's missing phone. Kat hires a burglar, Jimmy Ahern, to steal Kyle's phone because she knows that he's got all these incriminating photos. She doesn't want her daughter to get incriminated. And so now she just wants them to take the phone so she could erase the photos.
But she's got all these contacts because of her job. They all kind of like adore her.
Yeah.
And she's done things for them, though they are willing to like, okay, I'll do this for you.
I know that it's not ethical for me to do this, but I'll do it for you because I know you need it.
Because you are you. And I appreciate you.
Right.
Yeah.
So then she meets with Aiden to warn him that Cleo is seeing Kyle again and that Kyle has blackmail photos of Cleo. She says she's handling it, but Katrina spies on Kyle at the library and follows him as he sells drugs to Annie. She confronts Annie and learns Kyle keeps compromising photos of all of his clients. Now she's realizing she's got photos of Annie, he's got photos of Annie, he's got photos of Cleo, and Annie is not the innocent girl that Janine plays her out to be.
And Annie was rude as fuck to her.
Yeah,
She's like,
she
mind
was.
your business, Grandma.
Yeah. We jump to Cleo and her mom is 25 hours gone. Cleo visits Vivian Vauxhall at the Dakota. She questions Vivian's involvement in Katrina's disappearance. Vivian reveals that Kat was not a patent attorney, but a fixer for the law firm's shady clients. Vivian doubts.
And a good fixer.
A
at
good
that.
one,
Yeah.
yes. So then Vivian doubts that Jules had a manic episode and then gives Cleo her contact info. If you need anything, I'm here to help because I would do anything for Kat. So Cleo visits Jules' apartment and finds litigation documents about the Zytek case. She leaves, Detective Wilson arrives, and Cleo shares what she has found. Wilson mentions a neighbor saw Cleo arrive an hour earlier than she claims. Cleo says the neighbor has Alzheimer's and likely confused her with Kat. Cleo tells the detective about Kyle's threats and Aiden taking the inheritance. She is like a spitting image of her mother.
Yeah.
And everybody keeps commenting on it like, wow, you look just like her. So then we jump to December 1st, 1992. It's another one of Kat's journal entries, and she's recalling walking with Reed around Haven House when she was young, and during the walk, Reed kisses her.
So then we go into chapters 30 through 38. Kat, 2 days before, Kat texts Cleo to invite her to dinner on Sunday night. And the way she does it to is different than normal. Cleo agrees because she's like, I understand why you wouldn't want to, but please. She's almost begging. And so Cleo agrees. Ahmed sends Kat Doug's last few text messages, and one message is from a burner number arranging a late night meeting at a Yonkers strip mall. The number belongs to Phil Beaumont. He is a Darden Pharmaceuticals in-house attorney. Katrina shares this with Mark the next day, but he already knows and asks her to come to the office to discuss. That evening, Katrina watches Cleo's dorm from a park bench where Janine joins her, and they talk about motherhood and how hard it was, which I thought was a really cool moment. Kat talks about how she struggled being a mom and Janine always had it together, but then Janine reveals she doesn't have it together. She has different struggles than what Kat might have, right? Like, and she's like, some people would call me clingy and too friendly, and now I'm not being a good mom because I'm trying to be a friend. And
yeah,
she's like, there's different struggles for everyone. You don't know everyone's story, which I appreciated. Kat receives a call from Tim Lyle, allegedly prompted by Jules. So she's suspicious that Katrina gets his home address from the office.
He wants to share notes for the Darden case.
And she that's how she gets him to talk. She doesn't know who this guy is. When she calls, she realizes kind of that this is someone I work with. Why is Jules telling me I should talk to him? So she gets on the phone with him and she's like, we were supposed to share notes. And he's like, oh, I'm jumping on a plane to blah, blah, blah.
But we should to Sweden, like somewhere far.
Yeah,
and he's like, but we should definitely connect when I land.
Yes. And so she ends up going to his house. She asks Janine to keep watch over Cleo and warns her about Annie's closeness with Kyle. This is funny, and I don't know. We never get back to Janine in the park.
No, we never do. She leaves that bitch
back.
in the park. It felt like for days. Like, when did Janine decide to leave?
Like, all right, I gotta call it quits.
Like, it's 4 a.m. There's drug deals happening all around me. I need to go home.
Get out of here. We go to the next chapter. It's a transcript of recorded session number 4 with Cleo and her therapist. Cleo is telling her therapist that Kat started pulling away when she was in middle school. The therapist suggests Kat might be hiding something from her past. Cleo describes Will as a regular person and says Kat is too uptight to accept him. The therapist wonders if Cleo herself is unsure about Will and projecting that onto her mom. Again, I feel like there was times throughout the whole book I was like, something is going on with Will.
Right.
Yeah, like
she
Cleo
makes comments
knew
like,
that there was a
I
secret.
never invite him over to the dorm.
Yes.
Or, I can't tell mom about Will. Or, right, you're like, why? Why? What's happening?
Even here, like the therapist is like, where did you meet Will? And she's like, we met at
school. In this
She's
class.
like, okay.
Okay, why do you feel like your mom's not going to appreciate it? Well, because my mom doesn't like anyone, right? Like,
She's uptight. She's going to find something wrong with him and embarrass me and ruin the relationship.
yes. We're back to Cleo's point of view. Her mom is 28 hours missing. Cleo exits Detective Wilson's car, confused about her cryptic warning. Back at Kat's house, she finds the kitchen suspiciously clean and speaks briefly with George, the neighbor, who Cleo reviews the files from Jules's apartment and realizes they're from the plaintiff's attorney, not the defense, suggesting that Jules is the one who potentially is Jane Doe suing Darden. Aiden arrives. Cleo accuses him of not caring about Kat's disappearance and chatting with Bella, the girl who she knows the secretary that you're having an affair with. Aiden admits to an affair, but does say it wasn't with Bella. Cleo texts Will for comfort and later finds that Kat's phone is synced to her laptop. She sees the threatening text her mother had received. Will arrives at her dorm and they have sex.
She's like, this is what I needed.
The release I needed.
Yeah, she's
and
like,
Will's
I'm so
only
wound up.
showing up because, Will's only showing up because I need him and I never ask. This is when she's like, he never comes to the dorm. So it's a big deal that he knows I'm asking. So now the next chapter is the Wall Street Journal. The article reports that Doug Sinclair, Darden's VP of Risk, failed to pass along warnings about Zytec to the FDA. The article frames Doug as the sole employee responsible for the failure. And lucky for everyone, he's no longer with us.
Yeah, so they're going to do their best to really salvage their reputation.
Yes, we're so sorry for Doug's actions. So Kat, one day before, Katrina searches the firm's database and discovers Tim Lyle is also a fixer. So she sneaks into Tim's apartment and finds emails from Doug to Phil with Darden, warning about Zytec's risks, which I think she's surprised that, my firm has another fixer, not just me.
But then she's like, I don't know why I would be surprised by that, but I would think we would know about each other.
Yeah.
There's no fixer luncheons.
Yeah, right.
Fixer conference.
Doug's final emails include a thread to go public and a draft email to Kat. Katrina realizes Darden and Mark knew about her relationship with Doug and may have counted on her silence. Like, there's clearly an email from Doug to Kat
that says, "Let me explain."
Yeah, like, so obviously they know something's going on. They probably know about my relationship with him, and they're hoping that she's going to just stay silent. She then receives a chilling text, a photo of Cleo, and a message demanding $3 million in 24 hours, or Cleo will suffer. Katrina alerts her NYPD friend, Sergeant McKinney, and asks him to keep watch on Cleo. I think at this point she's debating, like, is it Kyle? It's probably this Darden.
Oh, yeah. Is Darden following me and now they're targeting Cleo? Like,
yeah.
It can't be
They
Kyle
know that
anymore.
I can spill the tea, or yes. Like, this is getting to be bigger. So Cleo, now with her mom 36 hours gone, Cleo wakes up with Will and reviews Kat's threatening text. She realizes that Katrina was being stalked. While searching online, Cleo finds an article revealing that Haven House had covered up sexual and verbal abuse. Will warns Cleo that she doesn't know what she's walking into, but she decides to go to Haven House anyways.
And that's the first time he has any emotion about her doing anything related.
Yeah.
To her mom's missing.
She's telling him all the things she's doing. Like, I'm going to meet up with these guys that she was dating. And he's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But now she's like, I'm going to go to Haven House. And he's like,
Are you
I
sure?
don't think you should do that. And they kind of leave like in an almost like an argument about it.
Yes, she's annoyed by him, and he's clearly like has some sort of emotions about it. I think she also realizes that she can see the picture that her mom was sent because she's seeing this, and she's like, that's me. That's my apartment.
But it's also like a far away picture, and it's like a park. It's the park in front of her dorm, and she's like, the fuck is it? Like cars? What am I supposed to know about these cars?
Yes. So it takes her a minute to even realize, like, oh, wait, that's my apartment. She goes to Haven House anyway. At Haven House, Cleo meets Rose, the elderly secretary, who says Katrina's file is missing. They also, when they see her, they're like, oh, I know exactly who you are. You look exactly like your mother. Mm-hmm. So Cleo finds Silas on the property and questions him. He denies sending the threatening messages, but remembers Katrina once returned covered in blood after seeing that college prick, likely it being Reed. She kind of gets the sense that something bad happened. There was way too much blood on her. And then the next day she got adopted after seeing that college prick Reed. On the day that Kat disappears, there's another like text message chain where someone is basically saying, I can't get what you want, but tells this person not to worry, we'll figure it out. The other person becomes angry and hints at a deeper involvement between them. So there's something happening between these two. You're getting little glimpses of it, but they are truly just little blips in these chapters.
Seconds.
They're seconds.
I totally forgot about all of these text threads because I think it was so short that I didn't even pay attention.
And you like don't really know who they're between. So you kind of just
like, okay,
glaze
great.
over
It could have been anybody. It could have been Kat with one of her like mini contacts. That's who I thought it was at the beginning.
I thought it was Kat the whole time. Yeah. Like, especially because it's clear at one point they're talking about Kyle's phone, and you know that Kat is trying to
get Kyle's phone.
So you assume that's who it is. On the day that she goes missing, Katrina visits Mark's apartment to tell him that Darden killed Doug and that their law firm, Blair Stevenson, is part of the cover-up. Sergeant McKinney calls Kat to inform her that Cleo went to someone's house. Katrina asks for the address. Kat shares all the evidence with Mark, tells him that Cleo is being threatened, and reveals that the NYPD is protecting her. And it's like really late.
It almost feels like it's in the middle of the night because him and his wife come down and he's like, go back to bed, honey. I'll be right there.
Yes.
Kat needs to talk to me, apparently.
Yeah. And she's like, look they're sending me pictures of my daughter now. I have to have NYPD watching her because something's going to happen. Which she's like, I'll talk to Phil about this. I'll talk to them. That's not okay.
They shouldn't be tracking Cleo. That's crazy.
Yes, but not like, let's get out of this. Let's not do this anymore. He's like, it's still a lot of money. I'll talk to them and make sure. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, but you're doing it. After the meeting, Katrina calls Emily Trachtenberg, a journalist at the Times, offering her major story. It's almost like a trade. If you don't do Vivian's story, I'll give you this one. Katrina meets with Sergeant McKinney outside of Brownstone, which is the final place she's seen in. For the journalist, I think she's like, release this story if something happens to me.
Like, if I don't get back to you in 72, 48 hours or whatever, release it. You're good to go.
Yeah. So Cleo, now with her mom 45 hours gone, Cleo visits Yale's registrar, trying to find more information on Reed Harding, the creative writing tutor. She learns that he dropped out his sophomore year, and Vivian later confirms that Reed was murdered on Christmas Eve in 1992 and gives Cleo his last address in in New Haven. But she's like, this is the last time you ever see him. 1992.
Like he just
disappears. Like I can't find anything about him. And because Cleo has read her mom's journal, she thinks, and with the story that Silas told, she's like, my mom killed him. My mom murdered this guy. So Vivian's like, this is his last known address. She's like trying to get her off of the scent, right? Don't look into Reed anymore because she doesn't want her to know that her mom potentially killed someone. So Cleo texts Detective Wilson about her findings, and Wilson replies that they need to talk about Cleo's boyfriend. But Cleo assumes it's about Kyle and ignores the message.
She's like, he's not my boyfriend anymore, and you're not getting me caught up with drugs.
Yes.
I already finished.
Yeah. And like, I already confessed to you, so I hope you're not going to come and get me for that. Like,
yeah.
She was nervous about it. So anyways, that's the end of my chumps.
And the last chump, chapter 39 through the epilogue. So on the day of, Katrina watches Chloe leave the brownstone and wrongly assumes she was with someone romantically. She receives another threatening message and asks Ahmed to trace the number. Katrina finds her office ransacked and meets with Mark and Phil Beaumont. Phil denies that Darden is behind the extortion, but does admit that, like, yeah, those guys in the black sedans, that was us. And he's like, I'm not sending you text messages, though. Why the fuck would we waste our time?
Which is crazy because she has a group of people. They're following her around, watching her in a car. Someone else is clearly watching her, texting her these threatening things. She's got freaking her daughter being harassed by an ex-boyfriend. Like, there are so many people right now in this moment where you're like, it could be anyone.
Yeah. It could be all of these people. And none of them, they get together.
Yeah.
She threatens to go to the press. She's like, if you endanger my daughter again, like I've already have an article out there, and if they don't hear from me in a certain amount of time, it's going. The article I gave them is going, and it's throwing you guys under the bus. Then we jump to December 24th, 1992. It's a journal entry from Kat. She sneaks out to meet Reed at night, and she has a crush on him. Then Chloe, 52 hours gone now. She meets Vivian, who says the New York Times reporter told her that Kat shared documents about Darden. Cleo asks Vivian to find the identity behind the extortionist number. She runs into Annie, who is drunk, and warns Cleo that Ada needs to leave her mom, Janine, alone. Tell your creepy ass dad to stay away from my mom. Session 5 of Cleo's therapy sessions, she shares that Kyle has been harassing her. She reveals that the therapist is like, oh, where again did you say you met him? He's another student? And she's like, no, not exactly. He's my poetry professor, not a student, adding complexity to their relationship.
Complexity.
Now it's like, yo, this is creepy.
It's gross.
As soon as that happened, I was like, this motherfucker has something to do with Kat.
Yes.
Which is crazy because it's not wrong that they're together because she's an adult and he's an adult in like a random, but it's
like a
wrong
gross
that
way.
it's you're his per professor. And you really
and
shouldn't.
we don't know exactly how old he is yet.
We don't.
We don't.
He could be a young
But when
professor.
we find out, it's disgusting.
Yes.
Yeah. So on the day of, Ahmed confirms the extortion messages came from a burner phone, suggesting someone other than Darden, because she's like, Darden has too much money to just buy a burner phone. They would use programs and make it very difficult for us to track you down. She's like, I wonder if Aiden's on this shit, trying to get me to give, because they're asking for almost the same amount of money.
Right.
The hired burglar, Jimmy, gives her Kyle's stolen phone, and he's like, yo, I snatched it while he was asleep, but he saw me, and he said, I'm going to kill this bitch as I was running out of the house. So he knows it's you, so be careful.
So now is it Kyle who's threatening her?
Yeah. Who the fuck is it? So at home, Katrina notices something suspicious. She's like, someone might be inside my house. So she goes next door to George. He's like, I think someone's in my house. And he's like, we got to call the police. She's like, don't call the police.
Gives him rules.
Yes.
Right?
She tells him like,
if you hear this, then call the police.
Yeah, like
Or
if I say this
specifically
code word,
yes,
then you call the police. And he's like, okay.
Unless anything else happens, do not call the police.
Yes.
He's like, okay. He's nervous, but he's like, okay.
he agrees.
So Janine was in there. She becomes flustered. She's like, oh, my husband's cheating on me, and gives her all of this story. And Katrina's like, hey, you can use the office if you want to go call your divorce lawyer now and, take this time. I know it's difficult. She shares with her that she's going to get a divorce from Aiden. So she's like, I understand. Please go.
I'm here for you, friend.
She's like, she's been in there for a while. And as she's walking down,
She can hear things happening in there.
she finds a piece of paper, like numbers written down, and it's in Aiden's writing. She's like, I don't know what this is. So she tucks it into her pocket. Then she goes to the office, and she's like, oh, maybe she's done. So I'm just going to go in there. She's been in there for a while. She opens the door, and she's going through her desk drawers.
But she's like, I see her phone. phone. Like she finds her phone. Like, wait, she's not even on her phone.
Yeah, she's
and when
like
she opens the
talking
door,
aloud.
she's talking, but she's not on the phone. Yes, I just
sound.
need to. Right, and she's like going through drawers,
Yeah.
but making it sound like
She's on the phone.
she's on the phone with someone. And then I could have just imagined opening the door and seeing someone pretend to be on a phone call. Like, what the hell? You're busted, girl. You're busted.
So then Janine admits that she wants Kyle's phone to protect Annie, and Katrina realizes that the affair wasn't between Aiden and Bella. It was with Aiden and Janine.
This bitch. I was so mad.
Yeah. She forces Janine. So she goes back to the kitchen and she's just like, Janine, you need to get the fuck out of my house. You need to leave now. And
Yeah,
she's in the middle of
been having
cutting
an
up
affair.
food. So she has a knife in her hand, a butcher knife, and she starts pointing it at her and she's like, get out of my house. So she finally leaves. But she knows she doesn't lock the door when she walks out. Then we jump to Cleo, 71 hours gone. Cleo confronts Aiden, who admits to the affair and says, she was like, I think it's Janine. And he's like, just trust me, it's not Janine. And she's like, how do you know it's not Janine? You were getting off the airplane. He's like, I wasn't. Oh,
Which the detective is like, we got to talk. Your dad actually, he landed at 4:30, not at 6:30.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'd been
he
home
would-
for some time.
Yeah. And he's like, I know Janine wasn't there. He doesn't say outright, I was with her,
Yeah.
but he alludes to it.
Yeah.
Cleo finds Kyle's hidden phone in a purse in her mom's closet. And it was a purse that she used to play with as a little girl. That was her favorite purse to pretend to be a big girl in. And so that's the purse her mom hid it in. Will just arrives at the house with Cleo because she's at her mom's house. And he's like, I brought stuff. I saw your dad leave and I brought stuff to make dinner. And he gives her a book of poetry. And the inscription is almost identical to the one in her mom's book. And she's like, oh, fuck.
Disgusting.
Oh, this is Reed. As soon as that happened, I was driving in.
Yeah.
I looked at Sunny and I was like, I fucking knew it.
Yes.
So, Kat, the day of, Katrina leaves the door unlocked, anticipating Cleo forgetting her keys. She hears the door open early and then finds Reed alive, standing in her foyer. Reed reveals he's now going by William Butler, and he's Cleo's poetry professor. And then he starts going on this villain monologue. But
He was older than Katrina was when she was young. So it was already weird, right? She was like 14.
she was 14 and he
He
had
was
to
like
have
21 or something
like that. He was in college.
So already, it was already gross. And now she's what, 19, 20 years old? He has to be what, 50?
No. Yeah, he's in his
in
50s.
his 50s.
Yeah.
With a 20-year-old girl. And
Leonardo DiCaprio
he
status.
has made Kat and Cleo, what's it called? Tunnel sisters?
Ew.
What the fuck?
Disgusting. I don't like that at all.
I hate that. What is that?
So disgusting.
I'm sorry,
There's
that's a
much
term?
Yes.
He
yeah.
does comment on how similar they are. And I remember
so
thinking,
disgusting.
Oh.
It's so disgusting.
yeah, it's really, really bad.
Tunnel sisters. I can't believe that's a fucking word.
Disgusting.
A term.
Okay.
So he's going on and on about how delicious Chloe is and how she looks just like her mom at that age. And he knew when he saw her in class how he was going to take her. Katrina starts to, because she's panicked. Like, this is the first time you see her, like, not being able.
She's not level-headed.
Well, that,
The
and
man
she's
that she swore
frozen
she
in
murdered.
fear.
Yes. The man she swore she murdered
Yeah.
and has been telling her that story for years. Her freaking living room talking about how he's taken her daughter. Oh.
She's recalling how he drugged her and raped her the night that she went out to see him. And then when she came to, she was sore and realized, oh my God, he raped me. And before she leaves, she's like, why would you do that? And he's like, go be a good little bitch and go make me a sandwich or something. And she grabs a knife.
He
think
like tried to
grabs her
take the
again.
knife from her,
Yeah.
and then she's like struggling to get away, and she accidentally slices him
She's
somewhere.
not like, "Ree."
Yeah,
in
it's like
the
an
neck.
accident. Like in the moment,
Yeah.
she just slices and it hits a main area, and
he
he's
says things
bleeding
like,
everywhere.
You wanted this.
Yeah.
This was
Ew.
just a game we were playing.
Yes.
Yeah. So Reed demands $3 million because he's like, I know you got inheritance. I want that money. And she's like, okay, let's go. Let's go into the office. So she goes into the office and then she realizes the numbers that were on that paper were the account. Aiden had stolen the money. Out of trying to be honest with Aiden and being cooperative in their marriage, both names were on that separate account. So he had access to the money
And he took it.
and he fucking
So
took
there's
it.
no money in the account.
It's wiped out.
gosh.
They fight, and Kat goes to run to the kitchen, and he pulls her backwards, and she slams and blacks out. Head hits the wall.
corner of something.
21 hours gone. Cleo realizes that Will is Reed. They're standing in the kitchen. Vivian confirms that Reed, she sends her a text and she's like, oh, just confirming he didn't disappear. Reed now goes by William Butler and he teaches at NYU.
Yeah, like I couldn't get it out of my head. I kept looking for Reed even until Lily told me not to. And here's what I found.
She remembers that there's a bathroom in the office. And it locks from the outside.
She knows that because she locked her mom in there.
Yes.
When she was a kid.
So he's like, oh, let me go use the restroom. So while he's in there, because he goes into that, like he knows it's there. She's like, that's really weird that he would pick that one. She's like, cool. So she locks it and bolts next door to George's house. She's like, you got to call the police. And he's like, no, I wasn't given the word. I can't call the police. She's like, let me inside. I need to use your phone. And he's like, absolutely not. But he has this thing about his trash cans. So she takes a trash can and she throws it over the fence. And he's like, no, my trash can.
Yes.
And runs after it. And she bolts inside the house and she finds her mom alive. And her head was wrapped and injured. And due to George's Alzheimer's, he didn't realize how much time had passed. George was like a renowned doctor before he got Alzheimer's. So he was able to patch up her mom, but he lost track of time. So he never called the hospital.
I wasn't going to call. She told me not to call the hospital unless so many hours had passed.
Yeah.
And he's like
it's 3
and
days.
Cleo's like, it's been 3 days. And he's like, no, it's not. It hasn't been. It's only been hours. And she's
then
like, no, it's been days.
Yeah, and he's like distraught. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I waited so long.
Yes.
So now there's a Times article, and Emily Trachtenberg, the article reports that Darden ignored warnings about Zytec side effects in pregnant patients. Jules is named as the plaintiff, and the FBI investigating Doug Sinclair's suspicious death. Then we jump to the epilogue, and Katrina is recovering. She's okay, but she's got a lot of functionality that she needs to gain back from her severe head injury. Cleo plans to stay home with her mom for the summer. She actually got into like this prestigious writing camp for the summer, but she chose like, I'll delay it till next year. I want to stay home and help you heal. Katrina recalls that after her injury, Reed fled. George found her. She might be disbarred. She's like, I don't know, but she's glad that the truth is out. And she resigned from her law firm. And she's like, you know what? If I don't get disbarred, maybe I'll start my own law firm. Aiden and Janine are together, but unhappy, which they deserve to be unhappy.
Because it comes out that they've been together forever.
Since Cleo was an infant.
When Cleo had that traumatic experience of her going into the water, it was because her dad and Janine were fingering each other, popping each
other's assholes at the beach and ignoring her.
Yes, and she almost drowned. Like, that's so forever. And they were going on family vacations together, and they did all these things together the whole time.
He was banging Janine.
Ugh.
Fucking gross.
Disgusting.
Reed is finally caught and arrested, and he's awaiting trial. And Katrina feels now that her past is known, she's committing to be more honest with Cleo. That was like mother, like daughter.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
So now we get to rate it, which I totally forgot we were going to do until right this moment, even though we do it every time we do these. To remind everybody about our system of how we rate on a 3-shot system. 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. And 3 shots is it got me up.
I want to know what you think. This was my pick.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So I teetered on this one for a majority of the book because I'm thinking throughout the reading, right? What am I going to rate this book? I teetered between a 2 and a 3 because it was a good book and it did have you questioning what the outcome was going to be the whole time. I think the relationship between the mom and the daughter was very realistic and it hit in some parts. I did enjoy it. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
So 3. Got it. We rounded up.
I'm going to give it a 2.75.
We're rounding up. It's a 3 shot.
Because I did really enjoy it. And depending on the audience, I may suggest it to somebody else.
Isn't that like with any book you suggest, depending on the audience?
No, because there would be people
No,
who
I
wouldn't ask their genre or their preferences and just tell them it's a bomb-ass book, you need to read it.
I really liked it.
Yeah. And there's other people that would say, oh, you're really only into certain types of things. I won't recommend this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your rating, Rachel?
I'm sorry. I need to clarify what your rating is.
2.75.
That's not a thing.
It's a 2.
It's a 2.
It's
Got
a
it.
2/3. 2/3.
All right. I'm going to give it 3 shots. I liked this book. I liked how it toggled through everything and you didn't know who was the villain.
Yeah.
You didn't know who was doing what until almost the near end. And I like that their relationship was on the mend at the end.
I definitely like this book. I think I'm going to get it. Okay, again, I feel similar to Rox, and I know we're not allowed to do a 2.5. I won't do a 2.5. But I am going to land on a 2, leaning more towards a 3.
2.75.
But yeah, I did really like it. And I had similar reactions to as Rachel when it was like, oh, Will. It was like, I freaking knew it. I knew Will was up to something. So 2.
Good pick, Rachel.
Thanks.
Yes.
This was a good one. I will give that to you.
Yes, it was good. All right, well, that is a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. Thanks for listening to our deep dive of Like Mother, Like Daughter. And make sure you check out our prompts that are posted now on our website. If you had as much fun as we did, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're here for you every Wednesday.
Yeah, go on, be a hero, rate and review us. You'll be helping lost literary leches find their podcast soulmates. And we do read them out loud in dramatic voices.
Then you can keep the conversation going by following us on our social medias at Lit on the Rocks Pod on Instagram and TikTok, or on our website, literatureontherocks.com.
So until next time, may your TBR be long and your cocktails be strong. Cheers!
Toodaloo!
Bye.